my song. Let's sing it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's it, see. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah!
Howdy, howdy, howdy. It's me, Jesse Blaze Snider, the Coolest Geek Alive. How are you doing? I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for asking. Did you not ask? I heard you ask. You asked. You were like, how are you doing? I'm doing great. Because you asked. I am doing great, though. I am recording from a hotel room out in North Carolina where my family is building a family compound that is magnificent, designed by my mom, and super, super, super cool. It's not all done yet. It's still in the process, but they are finally about to move. It's done enough that they're about to move in, and there's still a lot more work that is going to be going into this place before it's like really wrapped up. But I'm in town helping my family move, so that's fun. And yeah, it's just been they've been rewarding me with very yummy dinners. And I don't eat out a lot, so it's been nice. Anyway, today we have come here to talk about review bombing. Review bombing. Is there any review bombing? What review bombing is there? When I first had heard of the concept of review bombing, I thought it seemed to mean that there was like an organized effort to lower the rating of a movie. I'm here to tell you, if you think that that is what review bombing is or that exists on some level, it doesn't. It doesn't exist. I've looked rather well, and there is no organized effort to review bomb anything. However, there is a fandom that often fundamentally does not like what you are putting out. And let me just say, if the fandom fundamentally doesn't like what you are putting out, you have fucked up. You have fucked up somewhere in the genesis of the thing. You've been put in charge adapting a thing to bring it to life to satisfy the fans. So if you advertise the thing and the fans go, what the fuck is this? That's on you. You fail. You fucked it up. There is no organized effort of people going and review bombing. There are fans who it may seem to you are organized. They're not organized. They all feel the exact same way about a thing. And you may say, oh, Jesse, these people are just followers of the thing. You know, a lot of them are clever now because they can repeat something that Nerdrotic says or whatever else. But Nerdrotic, who is fucking brilliant and very, very funny and just calling it like it is. And everybody's got to get over it. I know there's tons of people out there who fucking hate Nerdrotic because he's saying inconvenient things and he seems so angry. He doesn't fucking angry. He's sarcastic and he's very funny, very genuinely funny, and loves the material the same way I do. Anybody who loves the material will appreciate every fucking joke he is making because we love the material, and he does, and he's cracking from a place of they don't love the material. Look how much they don't love the material. Do you see this, guys? It's getting annoying. It is. It's getting very annoying how much they don't love the material. So, organized review bombing, absolutely no. If you want to call an angry fandom responding, and this response on some level is them either not watching the thing and giving it a 0 or a 1 or whatever lowest score they could give it as a review, which happens to other movies too, but not in as large number of if it's something that's based on something, because they can say right from seeing the trailer, this is not for me. So again, is that review bombing, or is that your fucking fault, for one? And would you call that a fan unhappiness with perception of product is leading to messy scores on some of these platforms? And they are more susceptible to this thing, but to call it review bombing really paints this odd picture. Paints a picture of an evil fandom. Oh, these bad guys, we're oppressing the studios. The fandom's oppressing the studios by review bombing them. No, the fandom doesn't appreciate what you're doing. If you could please the fandom just a little bit in the right ways, you would have them posting 10s and like literally the opposite problem. But you keep failing this audience, and they are trying to communicate to you as consumers by giving you low scores. And then you call it review bombing, which seems to sort of miss the point of what the consumers have been trying to tell you by low rating your films. Now, I especially do not consider review bombing a thing because I believe it is absolutely canceled out and more. Like canceled out, and now we're looking at the other side of the table, which is who? The studios, who are review bombing positively. And that is coordinated. There is money going in to a coordinated review bomb of basically any movie being released by any studio at any time. They know people are looking for reviews, looking at the reviews. They know what the game is. So they pre-plan and pre-get all the things in order that they want to get in order before the movies are coming out. There's a lot of different ways that they will release these different things. If you've heard of the term, a review embargo. They'll have people see a movie, but if they're nervous about what people may say about the movie, they put a review embargo on all of the critics. So they're not allowed to talk about it until a certain period of time, that it might affect the promotion of the movie, which is purely speculation until people see it, right? So if you've seen it ahead of time, but we don't want people to find out anything real about it until people see it, that's going to be review embargoed. Now, traditionally speaking, this only happens for the shitty movies. This happens for the movies that the studios don't believe in. Movies will be put out to reviewers. It depends. Like if they think there's a chance, like generally speaking, a review embargoed movie is actually a movie that they're hoping might do okay, but they're nervous is not going to do okay. So they want people to review it. They're hoping maybe people will like it, and if people do like it, great. But like if they don't want bad word of mouth before the movie gets out, so they're like hedging their bets. And now with the advent of the internet, they're hedging their bets in so many ways. Go back, listen to my episode. You can listen to COOLEST GEEK Alive every episode on Spotify. I'm like approaching 200 episodes now, but most of them are evergreen. I try not to be topical. I try to talk about things that are meaningful today, yesterday, and tomorrow. And there is an episode where I really went into a lot of depth into, what was I going to share? We were talking about review bombing. Oh, Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes and the whole Rotten Tomatoes system, which is probably different than you think. You think that a Rotten Tomatoes score is like the percent good it is, when actually the rotten and not rotten meter is about what percentage of reviews thought it was good and what percentage thought it was bad. So you're looking at like a 65 being, or 64 being bad, and a 65% being good. So a Rotten Tomatoes score for a movie that has a 66 average amongst reviewers is 100% fresh if everybody did the 66. 100%. They all thought it was a D+. So Rotten Tomatoes is kind of a weird metric, and Rotten Tomatoes has also been infiltrated by the studios in way of many, I want to call them certified reviewers, but they're not exactly. I don't know if the certified is the term that they use. I forget what it is. If you go listen to that episode, I get real deep into the subject. It's an interesting subject, but I brought a lot of numbers to that and different things because I was curious a bunch of things and came in going, oh, look at this shit. But it's a good episode. Anyway, getting back to this review bombing thing. When I hear the review bombing, I just roll my fucking eyes because it's just the language. It's the game the fucking CIA plays. It's the game that kings have been playing. It's the way you say the thing and the way you put the thing out there. And it's the pits. It's the pits. It's just sort of like neuro-linguistic programming. Review bombing. Snow White has been review bombed. Oh, poor Snow White. And like, it's framed like that to like sort of get free positive review bombing for themselves. Oh, we're being review bombed. Everybody who like supports us like it. And of course, I mean, the reasons why Snow White, all of these films and TV shows that have been getting review bombed, it's all the same shit. It's all been DEI done wrong. And, you know, I've talked about this a million times. We've always liked DEI. DEI's always been a good thing. It's when it's being forced. The same way when they force you to change your female lead into a man, a white guy, because that's what they used to do back in the day. And it was forced. It was better when it was girl for a lot of different reasons. That's why I chose a girl, and you made it a dude. Like, you know, that's bad. Bad idea. Whenever you're forcing shit, it's not good for your bowels. It's not good for your asshole when you're forcing shit. I'm forcing the shit, and it's not good. Everybody knows it's not good to force shit. You shouldn't force shit. And every single time they get slammed for the acolyte. You know, it's review bombing. It's sexist and homophobic fans review bombing. There is no concerted effort. I've looked into it extensively. Me and Aaron, both of us are like, let's figure out. Years ago, we were both like, I want to like see if there is a group. You know, it's funny because we know now that Zack Snider's group, who helped him campaign to get the Snyder Cut and all this shit, he was paying. They were paying. That was an investment that they were making in a campaign that seemed fan-grown, but was driven by them. It was a clever fucking tactic. It's all fucking clever tactics, man. It's just nuts. There's this great. I wish I remembered the name of the company. They paint these really cool pictures, often very kind of childlike, Pixar-esque. Not childlike, is kind of the wrong description, but sort of depicting children, and even like their monsters that they'll draw are very cutesy. And they've got these cute little bunnies standing in front of this monster. But this monster is very cleverly camouflaged, and you can just barely see his teeth, and you can just barely see his eyes, and his whole body is just sort of blending into the rock almost perfectly. And on the face of this monster is a crude bunny rabbit that looks vaguely like the cute little bunny rabbit who's approaching it. Oh, look, a friend. Hello, bunny rabbit. And then you get eaten. the PR machine that Disney has, in fact, is just chef's kiss. Somewhere along the way, it was decided that Disney can do no wrong. They can never be perceived to have done any wrong. And everything is just spin. Every failure is somehow a success. And like it's just like we're just spin, 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 spin. And, you know, people like Kathleen Kennedy, she is playing a masterful game of like, I don't know what she is doing to keep her job other than carrying around 2 boobs and a twat. It's like insane. This lady has destroyed the entirety of Lucasfilm. Every single one of the shows that she has done has been accused of review bombing. They were review bombing Willow. I don't think so. I think the fans did not appreciate what you were throwing down, bitch. And they went, clickety-click, this is shit. And you know what happened to Willow? If you didn't hear, they released Willow. It did so poorly on Disney Plus, and people fucking hated it. And they tax wrote it off after releasing it and burnt all the originals. So I guess we'll never see it again. And good riddance. Indiana Jones was shot multiple times, ballooning budget. They seem to be doing the scrapbooking. There seem to be multiple versions of the film. The person who was scoring the film, John Williams, had to go back in and rescore new scenes. And the plans for some of the versions that were screened to various people that were just maligned. They do so many screenings for these things, so they know what they're dealing with usually from these like audience screenings, like how the audience is going to react to this stuff. And Disney has been like having these terrible audience screenings, going back, retooling the thing, having worse audience screenings because they're terrible writers to begin with. And then once they start going in and fucking with the thing, it just gets worse. It just gets worse. Pixar famously had a brain trust. Marvel had a brain trust until Kevin Feige tried to take credit for everything. The brain trust at Marvel were all people who were comic book writers. They made sure that at the end of every movie, no doors were shut to the possibility of all the stories that fans like us might want to see. And the whole first wave of Marvel movies, you know, leading up to Infinity War, for the most part, was just like a real open door. They can do anything and everything. This is amazing. This is set up to be so great. And then they did whatever the fuck they wanted to do. And diminishing returns. And a lot of this has been said, review bombing on She-Hulk. There was no fucking review bombing on She-Hulk. Fuck you. You know, I went out of my way to fucking write a fucking review for fucking She-Hulk because I am a fan of She-Hulk, and that show sucked so badly. They shouldn't have called it She-Hulk. Jennifer Walters in the comics is a fully formed character. She is awesome. She's like the girl next door who you'd want to hang out with. She's grateful. She's cool. She'll give you good advice. She's like a cool big sister. She's an excellent character. The character on that show bears no resemblance to the Jennifer Walters that I have been reading in comics for years. That character is fully formed and awesome and ready for prime time and could have been the greatest addition to the Marvel Universe since before they added Deadpool. Because She-Hulk is a Deadpool-type character in a way. She ties the whole Marvel Universe together in wonderful ways. She's somebody who's both grounded, but upbeat, positive, fun. So her book has a lot of humor, and the stories have a lot of humor. But at the same time, she's a grounded character, and grounded in this backstory of gratitude and having her life saved by her is Bruce her cousin? I think so. Something like that. And then, of course, in the show, she saves her own life. She saves him. We can't have a woman getting her life saved. Jesus Christ. Like, it's just the worst. Stupid shit. So what about Snow White? Like, what's happened here with Snow White? Because Snow White is coming up as the worst reviewed Disney film. And that's like by far. I was just watching a video from Doomcock. Shout out to Doomcock. Doomcock! Doomcock's channel is very funny too. And Doomcock had pulled up, he had like a bit of Grok, and Grok had given back a whole bunch of different numbers and a whole bunch of review numbers. And the only thing even close to the review for Snow White was the review for the Dragon Ball Z movie, the one that everybody freaking hated, which was 2.5. And Snow White has been bouncing back and forth between 2.2 and 1.7. So, this is interesting. And it makes me, it made me, before the show, rethink my, is there review bombing sort of question? Because the review bombing, I know, is offset and majorly fucking offset by the studios and their tinkering with these numbers. Rotten Tomatoes, reviews, all of it. They're just playing a game. They like to call it the access media amongst the indie media, and the access media is a great name for it. You know, I am no longer a part of the access media. The moment I started opening my mouth about anything, you know, like, I don't tell people that I do independent shit because I know they won't actually even dig into it themselves. They'd have to find out about it more deeply, and then by then I'm already hired, and and I do a good job, and you know, like, so there's no reason to be upset. But I also give my real opinion and really talk about these things in a real way, because I think that's the only way that we move things forward. So we can't just go, I don't know, maybe make it uncomfortable for me if I talk about this. Well, shut up. Like, that's your job. Like, otherwise the shit sucks. And like, why are we doing this? I'm doing it to make great things. So, you know, get out of my way. So is Snow White being review bombed? It's not so much that Snow White is being review bombed as Disney is hanging it out to dry. They're not doing the other side of the review bombing in a positive way. They have given up on this film worse than they've given up on anything. That Dragon Ball Z movie doesn't even fucking count. The lowest rated Disney animation, Home on the Range and fucking Black Cauldron were like 6.4 and 5.5 and stuff like that. I mean, it didn't go lower than like 4 for the Disney live action remakes and stuff like that. A 2 point something, a 2.2 and a 1.7, back and forth between that. That is a next level down, big time. Is that commensurate with its actual rating? No, probably not. It's probably, let's just say it's 1 or 2 better than that, which still puts it in a pretty terrible position. And maybe it's actually maybe 1 or 2 even better than that, if you were rating it on its own merit. And there is sort of a balance to the fandom who will look at the thing before it's done and decide some things, and can negatively affect a score, and will be more likely to post about a score if it's bad, because they won't be pissed about it, but they'll also be most likely to post if it's good. So like I said, the fandom is a boon to you if you treat them right, and you're fucking fools. But instead it becomes a little bit of a difficulty. But it's a difficulty that is usually mitigated by the review bombing on the other side. And the fact that Disney has not done any review bombing on the other side for Snow White, and has just decided to let it ring as a stinker, That is interesting. I have talked about thinking that this is a controlled demolition of the Disney franchise, the Disney brand. I think this month will tell. This movie came out this past weekend, and I think some wild shit is about to occur in the stock market. There's some real evidence, and you can look into this yourself, that they're setting up for another implosion like in 2008 on purpose. There's a number of things that have been done very strategically to screw up a number of big companies like Joann Fabrics, which is a profitable company. And they're going to tank these companies anyway, it looks like. It's interesting that so much attention is being brought to it ahead of time. I always wonder, well, maybe something will be done about it if there's a certain amount of attention done to it. But it does not seem to be the case that anything ever is really done in any sort of timely fashion like this, because the market likes to do these sorts of things. But there's some real interesting stuff going on, and Snow White just crashed and burned phenomenally. Not just critically. Is it the worst? It may not be the worst, but it is being allowed to be viewed as the worst by Disney, which is even interesting and feeds my conspiracy theory about there being a sort of plan to take Disney out, with Snow White being like the last real big release that they put out before things change hands and some sort of shuffle happens. Because by allowing it to be viewed as the worst thing that you guys have ever done, when the thing that it is based on is nicknamed the one that started it all by Disney fans like me. I'm a big Disney fan. I've watched every single Disney animated film, every Disney, many times, most of them, and every single anything with live action and animation mixed in, half of their live catalog and half of their animated catalog. I mean, I love Disney. Always been a big Disney fan. And Snow White is the one that started it all. The Steamboat Willie, and it was, there was the small thing, but the way the narrative of the company has been set up, that was considered to be Walt's folly. Walt was invested so much time and so much effort, and that nothing like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs had ever been done before. They gave them an honorary Oscar that was an Oscar with 7 little Oscars, because he proved the power of animation with that movie. That movie proved the power of animation, and wonderful songwriting. Someday my prince will come, and Wishing on a Star. I mean, there's just classic, beautiful songs in that film. And I'm not going to see this Snow White. As a fan, I was not amused, as most people weren't, by the whole thing. And I love Snow White. You know what I'm going to do in honor of this movie's release? I'm going to watch Snow White as soon as I have the opportunity. I'm going to put it on. Man, the high-res versions of Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella and Snow White, they are beautiful. They have updated them, the colors are refurbished and shit. And oh my God, they're so beautiful. So beautiful. My friend made me watch, because he's got a cool home studio in his house, and he had some great high res version of, I think it was Sleeping Beauty, and oh my God, I would die. I died. It was awesome. Beautiful. I mean, I love those movies, and because they're so beautiful, is really those ones, because stylistically and story wise, I prefer maybe a little bit more humor, or a little bit more action, whatever else. But all of them represent a distillment of beauty and form, and are great lessons in writing and musicals. And the Disney catalog is fucking incredible. It's a shame what it has become, and that they don't have creative people that can take things apart the way they need to. I was telling my dad, I was giving him a metaphor of like, a genius engineer, he might like start taking apart the radio at 5 and like trying to figure out how it works. And that's been my thing as like a creative person, and with ideas and songs, and how does it work? And when it comes to work, when it's an art, how does it work? Working means that the audience likes it. Why does the audience like it? Why do people like things? Why does this make people happy and that makes people not happy? So for me, that's always been like the thing that I've studied, and in doing that, you end up having to go like, well, how does this thing work here? And, it works like this. And people like it because it works like that. Oh. And then if you don't know how it works, and you just do the thing, you put a name on it, it's like, that's not how it works. It works like this. That's why we like it. They like it the way it works. A certain something in all of these geek culture fandoms are working. It's working. There's a fan base. Something's working for them. Making these things work beyond whatever's worked thus far is just about taking that fire that is already burning and fanning the flames. But if you just go, well, it's a name and a thing, and like, I'm telling you, you've given the baby up with the bathwater. There it goes. There goes the baby. You probably paid a lot for that baby. Billions of dollars is what Disney paid for these things, and the return investment is, oh my God. I've talked about this many times before, but they've killed their merchandise. Star Wars did, and even Marvel Legends. Like, I'm so sad right now because like I'm not going to get another Build-A-Figure for a while, because the Marvel Legends wave that they used to do, like that way of selling toys isn't exactly happening right now, it doesn't seem, because the past few lines that they've done based on their films have been so poorly received at retail. I mean, and I know now that I've been in North Carolina, I've been able to go to some Ollie's, and oh my God, their shelves are stacked with backstock of shit that hasn't been sold over the past 6 years from Marvel movies and Star Wars movies, and it's an ugly story when you see what is there, because it is fucking everything, essentially. There's things getting cannibalized by the failures that they're loosely associated with. It's all such a stupid... I was saying to my mom, it's like, because there's a universe where like the Star Wars movies that Disney made didn't suck, and people are happy, and they're still being made, and there's like a tapestry of stories going on, and people are invested in them, and it's like, yay! And there's one where the Marvel Universe didn't turn into shit too, and where fucking Doctor Who's not gay, and like it's, Doctor Who being gay isn't really like a big deal at all. It was really the Doctor Who being a flaming, rub it in your face homosexual who seems more interested in fucking dancing, like being gay, than solving the world's problems and making the world a better place. They just get so lost in their stupid virtue signaling, they just lose the plot. Like, who asked for this super gay Doctor Who? Like, who's ever watched Dr. Gay and Dr. Gay? Who's ever watched Dr. Gay and thought? Who's ever watched Doctor Who and thought, wish the Doctor was gay? But like flaming gay. Like reaching for people's penises inappropriately. Gay. What has become of the fandom and geek culture and pop culture? It's fucking crazy. They do these crazy things and then they go, we've been review bombed.
Oh, poor us. We've been bombed by reviews. If only some of the sweet and kind people amongst the population would come and bomb us back the other way, maybe we would feel better. Oh, poor Disney.
Well, it looks like the age of Disney, well, there's a lot of things to say. Fighting back? Is this a sign that they don't have the money? Normally speaking, they would fight back against these reviews. They would change the review. I mean, even like, I wouldn't be surprised if I wake up tomorrow and that number's higher because Disney couldn't take the egg on their face. And that would be a sign that Disney's maybe in a better place than they've been. But actually, is it more the type of thing where this is just a loss and they know that it's a loss and they don't want to lose any more on it and just give it to them? They hate it. We failed. Blah, blah, blah. Or is it a sign that there's more going on underneath the surface? I think there's a shitload more going on underneath the surface. Will it blow up in the next month like I've predicted or like I'm predicting right now? I don't remember exactly my time frame or whatever. I think I said just around Snow White and in association with Snow White, I think this may be a controlled demolition of the Disney brand. There's a lot of signs that says it will be. We shall see. Anyway, I love you guys. I hope you're listening to my Esoteric Wisdom show now every Monday because we've put all your favorite bands suck on hold. But 55 episodes of All Your Favorite Bands Suck are still available on iTunes and other places besides Spotify, who fucking fuck you, Spotify. I got to recapitulate the show. But 55 of my favorite bands being promoted out of my mouth and playing tons of pieces of their songs and stuff. I love that show. It's a great show. But since I had the Monday free now until I reformat the show for Spotify, everything they don't want you to know is now every Monday, and I've been having a great time on that show. I am dropping science on your ass. So come on, join me for everything they don't want you to know every Monday. And join me back this Saturday for a coolest pick or coolest classic. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I will figure it out soon, I'm sure. And that's it, man. I love you very much, and I appreciate you listening to the show. And I hope you will join me this Saturday and again next Wednesday for another fucking awesome episode of the Coolest Geek Alive. Peace later.
You've been listening to Coolest Geek Alive with me, your host, Jesse Blaze Snider. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more excellent geek culture content. Thanks for listening.
It's my favorite part! Isn't that heavy? I'll play that! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Coolest alive! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Stay with your tribe! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Revenge of the Geeks! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Week after weeks! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Laughing with you! It's gonna be fucking awesome! And crying sometimes too! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Spelling it out! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Making you shout! It's gonna be fucking awesome. Talking some shit. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Living your shit. My voice is fucking awesome. Food in our mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Get in the mouth. be fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Just wait. You'll see. You'll all see.
The podcast playground. Hooray!